Hey, this is Kenny Ashley again. Glad you joined me this evening on this wonderfully gorgeous day today. I mean, here it is. It's May and February. We're just blessed. I'm sitting out here in the yard with my puppies. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what is sin. There is so many misconceptions about what sin really is. Is sin an action? Is it something you do? Is it an attitude? What really is it? Well, the Bible speaks of sin in the original Greek language as missing the mark. You say, okay, missing the mark. What really is the mark? The mark is God's design, His created order, the way God created things to function. For example, we're created to breathe air. We don't breathe water, we breathe air. We're human beings. We feel, we live certain temperatures. There's certain laws that God set up. There's spiritual laws, there's physical laws, there's emotional laws, there's relational laws, and it's not that they're laws that we have to keep, it's just laws that work and function all the time. For example, gravity. If you jump off a building, you're going to fall down every time. It's God's created order. From a spiritual point of view, sin is when we act independently apart from God's order and design. You remember our purpose, everybody's purpose on the planet, every human being's purpose that God ever created, because God wanted us to live in total dependence upon Him for everything. God wants to provide everything for us, to live for us, to live in us and with us and for us and as us. And God wants us to be totally dependent upon Him. Whenever we act independently apart from Him on our own, rather than independence upon Him, we call that sin. The middle letter in sin is I. It's I am doing what I want to do rather than what God has ordained and outlined for me to do. And the devil has done such a good job of giving God such a bad name that like God is out to give us. But I'm sitting out here in the backyard. I'm sitting out here and I'm looking at all the flowers that are blooming. My clematis is over there blooming. I mean, we got azaleas blooming. We've got jonquils jumping out of the ground. The Bradford pears are just drop dead gorgeous. I mean, why in the world did God do all this for us if He's a mean ogre that is out to get us? God is not out to get us. He's not looking for us to sin so He can just jump on us and get His jollies by punishing us for sin. When we don't live according to God's design plan, life does not go well for us. You know, if you've got a car, you don't want to pay the price for gasoline, you don't have to. You can put water in it. It just will not run with water. It was not designed to run on water. It was designed to run on gasoline. We were designed to be unconditionally loved. And God is the only one in the universe that can love us unconditionally. Let me tell you how sin entered the world. Sin entered the world because God created us and said, look, I've created all this. We're going to enjoy this together. Isn't it wonderful? It's just wonderful. You just come depend on me, and I provided all the food, and God made man, and He took a rib out of man and made Eve, and it was just wonderful. Adam and Eve were just wonderful. They lived in a gorgeous garden. God provided everything for them, walked in the garden with them every evening. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. But there was a tree in the middle of the garden. Matter of fact, there were two trees. We'll talk about the other tree the next time. But tonight we want to talk about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God said, listen, you can eat from any tree in the garden. However, this tree right here is not good for you. It is poison for you. You will die if you eat this tree. And the devil came along, and this is what the devil did. The devil said, he came in the form of a serpent. I kind of picture him as hanging in the tree. And as Adam and Eve were walking through the garden one day, I can hear him say, psst, Eve, come over here a minute. I got something to tell you. So he comes over there and he says, and the devil says to Eve, did God put you in this wonderful garden? He won't let you eat any of this good stuff? And Eve said, oh, no. We can eat from every tree in the garden. But this one right here, God said if we eat this tree, we would die. And she said, we can't even touch it. Well, God didn't tell them they couldn't touch it, because they had to take care of it. But he said, if we eat this tree, we'll die. And the devil said, no, you won't surely die. You see, God's a cosmic killjoy. He doesn't care anything about you. I bet you this tree is the best tree in the whole garden. If you eat this tree, you could be like God. You could know as much as God. Wouldn't that be great? Now he's got her excited. Now he's got her emotions stirred up. He's put doubt in her mind. He's got her emotions stirred up. He said, why don't you just go ahead and pick it and eat it, and you could be through with all this authority stuff, this over-under stuff, and you won't fool with him anymore. And so she did. She took it, she ate it, and she gave to her husband, which was with her. And I want to tell you, the fall, and at that time, sin, the Bible said the wages of sin is death. What does that mean? What does that mean? When we sin, the wages that we get for sinning is death. Why? Is that because God kills us? No, no. Who is the source of life? God is the source of life. If you get disconnected from life, what do we call that? Dead. God said, if you act independently upon it, as long as you act in dependence with me, I'm in you, and I'm taking care of you, and I'm with you, and you have life in me. The minute you don't want that, and you want to do it on your own, independently, the middle letter in sin is I. If you want to do it on your own, you get disconnected from me, and I am life. You get disconnected, you are dead. That's how sin entered the world. And sin can be murder, lying, cheating, adultery, anything, but it can be good. The tree was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The most religious people in the world during Jesus' time were the Pharisees, and their goodness was derived from themselves, their own self-righteousness. It was I-centered righteousness, not the righteousness of God, but their own. That's why Jesus called them hypocrites, brood of vipers, whitewashed tombs. They were sinning. The tree was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Anytime we act independently rather than independence upon God, we sin. We get separated from his life. And whether it's self-righteousness or serial killer, it separates us from life. That's why the wages of sin is death. Sin is an attitude. It is me living the way I think I ought to live rather than independence upon God. You think about that, and the next time we're going to talk about that other tree in the garden. I hope you'd subscribe. I mean, I'm not doing this for any other motive than to tell you the things that I never knew about Jesus until the last 7-8 years. And I just want to share it with you. It has set me free. It has transformed my life, and I just want to share it with you. And I covet your comments. If you agree, disagree, whatever, just email me, call me, subscribe to the channel, to Kenny Ashley on YouTube, and we'll continue our thoughts. God bless you. Enjoy this beautiful day, and we'll talk next time.